All right. Hey, welcome to the Jeff Hagee Show. Excited to be here today. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Melissa Ambers. She's an author, entrepreneur, podcaster, publisher, so much more. But she's got 20 plus years experience in project management and strategy. And today, what I want to do is I want to talk about some of the books that she's recently written. And we'll get into that. But Melissa, just give yourself a bit of an introduction and then we'll get into things.
Well, as Jeff said, I have 20 plus years with project management, strategy, processes, streamlining, and within the last, 2, 3 years, maybe a little longer than that, AI started peeking its head and it's just started to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's become a necessary evil for some people, but it is a really, really good tool once you understand how to use it, when to use it, and how it can really reduce time and eliminate a lot of waste within your daily operation. So, thank you, Jeff, for having me on, and I'm glad to really talk about, the first book, Beyond Business as Usual, because having be able to show you how to use those steps and implement those things in your daily operation is something that's needed, is really needed.
Absolutely. All right. I'm excited to talk about these things because you've gone into some really great things, and not everyone's going to have the video portion of this. A lot will be on the audio, but I'm just going to flash a bit. So, the first one, as she mentioned, Beyond Business as Usual, um, AI's role in the workplace, embrace the future, and Digital Horizons Unveiled, navigating the waters of the digital era. So some great books. And actually, I gotta say thank you, Melissa, because just as we were sitting here talking,
Mm-hmm.
the most recent one I read was Embrace the Future. And I just went to the table of contents and noticed my name on the next page. I hadn't noticed that before when I read it. So thank you for
Yep,
that.
absolutely. Yep, definitely, definitely.
But yeah, some great stuff that you've done, and it's been interesting reading it because AI is a different animal. There's so much about it that's unknown, and that's in this most recent book that I read of yours, there are some really good things you talked about in there about demystifying AI.
Mhm.
And I want to start with that because I think that is a big part of it. Before people can really accept it, they've got to trust it. And demystifying it, and you went into how why you shouldn't fear the future, why you shouldn't fear AI, because it is a tool. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to include some myths in the book, and I'm sure there's so many more out there. So, I included some of those in the book to kind of, highlight some of those common things of why people are afraid of AI. And it's not like it's going to, shut down the entire world or anything. And we have to embrace it because it's here, it's not going anywhere, and it's just going to continue to grow and get bigger and bigger. And right now, if you're not willing to go ahead and make the transformation and implement some of these tools within your organization, not only will you be left behind, but you're going to miss out on so many opportunities, and your customers are going to start going over to your competitors because their experience, they want it to be seamless. They don't want to have to wait for a long time. We're in the world of I want it now. And not to say that that's got to happen all the time, but is finding a way to really get them the answers and the things that they need. And, putting some of those myths in the book is highlighting some of the common, myths that we may hear about AI. And then I also, give you the other side of it too, is that, no, it's not because of, XYZ. And like I say, it's quite a few of them in there. So as you're, going through the book and embracing AI, embracing the future, you really should take, you know, hold of some of those and really look at oh, I did think this, but actually, if I do this, then, I see how it could benefit me. It can save you time, save you money, just, eliminate a lot of the things that you really can't, don't have to worry about because you're using AI to help you with a lot of things.
And you know what? That's what I like in the book is going into those myths and
Mm-hmm.
these things that we think about and really being able to get a better understanding and say, okay, that is actually something that isn't necessarily is it's a myth.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why it's going to help me rather than something I should be afraid of. Now, I want our listeners to be able to actually go read the book and hear all these, read
Mm-hmm.
these things and understand it that way. But what's the number one myth that you think most people fear?
Um, it's going to steal my information. It's
Right.
going to take my customers' information and sell it, or um, it's going to delete all of our information that we have accumulated over the years. So, yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? So Melissa's in one of my mastermind groups, and it was interesting listening to her on our last call, talking with someone else on the call about the opportunities that are there. And just as you were talking about that, Melissa, I was thinking back to that call because there are, if we're scared of AI, if we're scared to implement it, or we just don't know about it,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of things it can do for us that we're missing out on. You know, you were talking about the different things on how to put the different parts pieces together so that it can create such a good customer service funnel. And without being able to embrace it and really utilize this powerful tool that we have now, you're missing out on a lot.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts around that?
I mean, definitely you're missing out on a lot. Just recently talking to someone that is having this what I call a paper issue, and stuck in the same old the status quo, and is trying to help her understand to transition into scanning and how to utilize those things, how to use something simple that we use every day, Google Docs, utilizing that, Google Drive, utilizing that, and just really helping her understand with all of the other tools that you walk around with every day, your cell phone, your iPad, how you can still easily retrieve documents and look for certain things instead of, oh, I have to wait till I get back to the office, or I have to look through these papers and see if I can find certain things. And being able to have things like that easily accessible, even for bloggers, they don't have to spend as much time writing their blogs because of AI. If you really understand the prompts and you know how to prompt it to say what you want it to say to help you with your ideas, then you can do one blog in probably 10, 15 minutes. And of course, go back and read it and put your tone in it. But it's so many opportunities out there, from streamlining workflows and just saving the time through your processes. As we was talking last night, and he was asking about the automation of the same old stuff over and over and over. Those repetitive tasks or checklists that you may have for a customer or whatever process it is, there are so many tools out there where it can automate that process for you. So now, instead of you having to redo it over and over and over and over, or have that same sheet of paper that you've copied so many times that it's fading, now you have to go back and recreate it because you can hardly read some of the words on it because you've copied it so many times. There are so many automation tools out there that it's going to take time to set all of these things up. But once it's set up, I mean, it could be tremendous on the time that you've saved and money by utilizing tools like this.
As you're talking about those things, I'm thinking even years ago, before AI was really making its mark like it is now,
Mhm.
when it comes to project management, efficiency, systems and stuff, that's always been something you've been so good at. Now AI is just allowing you to take that to the next level.
Yeah.
And so I think that's, where your services come in, Melissa. You've been so good at that with your clients. This is just one up in it. And I think this is something people really need to pay attention to. So what about, talking about it, I'm kind of combining things from two of your books, but whether we're like looking at learning or relearning, or as you mentioned in your other book, reskilling or upskilling,
Mhm.
where does someone start? How do they do this?
I think the first thing is breaking those habits, and that's where the unlearning and relearning comes into play. It's because you have to unlearn what you've always done, unlearn those habits and start breaking that cycle, and now relearn, how do I do this better? What can I do to, bring my team in, work with my team? What systems? So it's unlearning, relearning. And once you start relearning what you need to do and how you need to do it, it's just a matter of working on those skills. So now you're reskilling yourself to do, some of these things. So that's where those terms kind of come from, that breaking that cycle and those habits. So you have to unlearn all of those things. And if we really want to like take it, back to say a kid, a toddler, as you're teaching them different things, and Jeff, you're in this mode right now. So with a toddler, you're teaching them, certain things, or no, you don't do this, or you're showing them how to do certain things and certain things that they may have done. And it's like, okay, well, no, we're not going to do that anymore. This is how we're going to do this because of blah, blah, blah. So even if you want to go back to that point to now, as adults, we stay in that mode of we have to keep learning. And some things we have to break and like unlearn it. And now let's relearn how we need to do it the right way.
Something you just said there, we have to keep learning.
Mhm.
What would you say to the people that that's the concern is? This is happening so fast. This is changing so fast.
Yeah. And
How
that's
do
why
I
with
keep
the
up?
first book, that's why I was like, okay, leading in the digital era. This is where we are. This is what it is. It's no way around it. And sometimes I still hear it. And sometimes you even see it on the news of how people are still trying to go back to, oh, let's get back to what we used to do, or let's get back to old school. Some things I agree with, as far as, okay, instead of texting all the time, let's have a face to face. Those type of things, yes, I get. But when it comes to work and process, you cannot shift back because your customer have an experience. And even though you have a business or a small business, put yourself in the consumer shoes. You are in the consumer shoes sometimes, to where even if you're going to the mall and you're buying some sneakers or going shopping, you want customer service and you want certain things to happen when you go into these different stores, or even on the phone. Because so many people now, you're on the phone or on the internet making these orders. So put yourself in those shoes. So when you're on the other end, you have to remember, I was on the phone and I was frustrated because I had to sit on the phone for so long. Or I was frustrated because I can actually hear them flipping through papers or tapping on the keys because they couldn't find certain things because they're still using old systems, or it wasn't a right process. And you can tell sometime when you're calling customer service, most of the time these people just get thrown out there. Okay, here's your phone. This is how you operate it. This is how you look it up on the screen. They don't have a really good training. And even if they
Right.
do, sometimes the system that they're using is not the right system. Is we've used it for 40 years. This is what we've always done. It's always worked. We've always had, this is how we always have our customer information. But 40 years ago is completely different from now. So, we have to look at that and make that shift and make that change. And even in today's technology world, every 3 to 6 months, if not quicker than that, technology is changing. Things are being added on. Sometimes every single day, there's a new tool that's going to pop up. Everybody's out there coding, building these systems, trying to figure out how can we, help them streamline? How can we help our customers out there to save time? How can we create an app so we can make sure they can get to it on their phone, their iPad, their laptops, whatever? So it's always these apps and online tools that's being created. And, yes, I say I am a gadget girl. I like the latest and greatest gadgets, but, I try not to get too new, but I make sure all of my gadgets that I have work with each other. So there's a lot of things I make sure if I'm out, you always have your cell phone. These cell phones today is pretty much a mini computer. It real just a mini computer that you have in your hand. So I make sure that I have all of my accounts synced. So if I'm doing something on my laptop and okay, I'm rushing out the door and doing something, I know I have to look at it later. I make sure that it's where I can easily access it. So it's going to be in my Google Drive or it's going to be in my notes or something that I could pull back up on my iPad or my cell phone. And in businesses, the systems that you're using, one or two things. Either it's not the right system and you need to invest time, money, and training in getting the right system and training your entire staff the right way, or you do have the right system and you're just not utilizing all of the functions within that system. So what I always recommend to get a true assessment, it needs to be outsourced. And the reason I say outsource is because that person is not attached to anything. If you get someone that's external, they're going to come in and go through all of your departments, make sure that you have a good report and have a true assessment of what really needs to be done. If you utilize someone internally, they're going to be biased one way or other that they may like a system or they don't want to put all the work in. So they're going to give you a good report, but it's not going to be a deep dive type of report because, again, they kind of want to stay in this lane and try to do what they can to keep leaning to the side that they want. But an external consultant comes in, they're not tied either way. So you're going to get the full-blown report, good or bad. You're going to get that full-blown report. So now you know what it is that you have to do, why you have to do it. And now, okay, let's look at that investment. What is it going to cost financially? And what is it going to cost in time? Because you're going to have to take the time to really go through and look and research to see what we need to do, get all of that uploaded. So that's your financial cost. Once all of that is done, now it's the time training. We need to make sure that we have each department trained, the leaders are trained, and that they are shifting as well with how they are working with their teams. And I know we haven't hit this yet, but that's why I talk about emotional intelligence in the book as well, because leaders have to change the way that they're talking with their team and working with their teams. So that's why we kind of hit on that in the books as well, to make sure that we're not just out there train, figure out your systems. How can these leaders unlearn the way that they have worked with their departments and relearn how to work with them now? Because that's also going to shift the way that you, the revolving door of finding the right candidates.
So just for our listeners, I was recently on Melissa's podcast and we were joking about, you can tell we've known each other for a while and we work together a lot because every time I led into something, she says that was the next thing I was going to talk about. And it just flowed so well. My next topic was emotional intelligence.
We did it again.
So we did it again. So that's awesome. I'm glad you led into that. But you know what? I think that is a really great point that you make there. Do you want to expand on that a little more?
Sure. With emotional intelligence, um, we use the word emotion, and so many people look at that differently. That I'm not saying that it's, going to turn into a daycare or anything like that, but emotion in the sense of have some sympathy. When you're talking to your staff members, it's more than, okay, we're going to do this, and that stern type of, talk and training. Make it loose, make it where it's not as tense. And so many leaders, they have followed the rule of, oh, we have an open door policy. It's really not open door, because the minute someone walk in is that you just feel that tension. But on the other end, with your staff, if you work with them and go in the what I would call the trenches with them, when they start to approach you, you're going to feel a difference in that energy because of you saying you have an open door and it's really not. When they come in, it's like they're suited up for battle as well. So now the both of you have this tension going on, waiting, okay, who's going, go first? But it shouldn't be that. It should just be that light feel of coming in, of asking a question, or if they have a concern or problem with anything, that you're there to really listen, not just listen. They walk out and you're like, okay, and okay, well, I listened to you, but nothing happened. So it's
Right.
like really listening to your staff and understanding what they're saying. If it's something that's a company policy or it can't be changed, and some things I get as, leaders, depending, of course, your level, there are certain things that's just strictly not for staff knowledge, but there is a way that you can let them know it's, I hear what you're saying, but unfortunately, we can't do anything about this because of, you know, you could give them a reason to make them feel a little comfortable instead of just sounding like mom or dad because I said so. And we have to get out of that mode of because I said so, because you have to remember these are not your children. This is still another adult that you are working with, that you're talking to as well. Um, and when they're asking certain questions, we know what, let's look at that. Or let's have a team meeting and get everybody's feedback to see how you're really feeling about this. That's a good way to do a poll within your department, hear what everybody's saying, where they feel free enough to say if it's bad, it's horrible, it sucks, we don't like it, we've said it over and over, these are the problems we're having, without feeling some type of retaliation is going to happen to them. So it has to be that area where they can walk in and feel comfortable enough to say what they have to say, and you as a leader listening to what that is, even if they say you're not a good leader, you're not, talking to us when we try to talk to you, you walk off, or whatever the case may be, take that and be like, you know what? Okay, I need to do better. Let me fix that. So it's just really, really opening up a door and saying that you do have an open door policy, and that it is truly an open door policy, not just my door is open, it's not closed. So it's really just having some sympathy with people. No, sometimes people come in with bad days. They have stuff happen in personal lives. They try not to bring the work with them, but sometimes that's hard depending on what, is going on. So have a little sympathy, not to say that they should bring their problems to work and put it on everybody. I'm not saying that, but if you see, okay, normally this person comes in and they're doing their work, not to say that they're jolly every day, but they're normally, a midpoint cool person. And today you just see they're just not, they're not quite there. Give them a break, you know, let them come in and do what they have to do, but let that not be a day to really poke at them. Even if it's something like, we got to get this done, it's something we got to get done. If there's somebody else that can help, have a little sympathy and say, you know what? Let me go over here and bring them in to help do this. And that'll ease that up a little bit. And even at that moment, they may not say anything or may not be appreciative of it, but trust me, as time passes and they get through whatever may be going on, they will truly appreciate that you're doing that. So it's just a matter of having a little sympathy and really letting your team know that you are there for them and that you are there to work with them and not be a dictator.
Awesome. I think that's so important to understand and to implement. So, we've talked about the myths, we've talked about demystifying it and why you shouldn't fear the future. As an expert in this area of AI and implementing it into businesses, what are the threats? Are there any?
The threats for AI?
What are the threats of bringing AI into business?
The threat would be not understanding what you're bringing in. A threat would be not training your staff and preparing your staff. And a threat would be not finding the right solution for your organization.
I like that. So I'm going to bump a little bit what I was going to talk about next, but as you share those, where does someone start? If I don't know anything, I know I need to implement these things, but I don't know, where do I start?
The first thing to do is look me up. Send Melissa an email.
That was a good lead in.
and ask me to come in and have a consult. But if you don't know, that's where you would per se raise your hand, pick up the phone, and you would or either send an email and ask, hey, we're having these troubles. These are some of the issues we're having. I would like to discuss further with you. And you bring in a consultant. Again, and you're going to hear me say a lot, bring in consultant, outsource, because you want to have that true picture. And especially if you're in a place of, I hear you, I know I have to do it. We might not have the funds right now. What do I do? How do I get started? Same thing, outsource. You reach out, because a good consultant, what they're going to tell you, first, they're going to come in and have a conversation with you to see what your specific needs are and not give you anything cookie cutter. Once they understand what your specific needs are, now we're going to phase out that process. And how we phase that out will be dependent on what your needs are and in your budget. So once that's understood, it can easily be phased out, which means it may take a little longer to get it done, but it's still possible to get it done and make sure that your organization makes that transformation, and you're going to start seeing that return on the investment that you made to implement all of these different things.
Awesome. So with AI becoming such a powerful and prominent thing in business, in our everyday lives, one of the things you talk about in the book that I appreciate is the ethical consideration. Talk about the ethics behind AI.
I think the ethics goes back to, the EI, emotional intelligence as well. Because it all circles back to respecting each other, respecting everyone that's involved, your department, all of those. And of course, the ethics, to me, some may not agree, but the ethics to me also stems from listening to your staff, and regardless of who brings it to you, young, old, whatever race, whoever brings it to you is not looking at that saying, oh, well, she just thinks that or he just thinks that because of this. So ethics is also not looking at you're too young, you don't know, wait till you mature, or you're too old, you don't know what you're talking about. So ethics also goes with that as well, because that will happen, has happened, um, when someone brings a suggestion to someone.
I like that. So I think the first thing, regardless of what stage you're at, is starting with this, reading the book Beyond Business as Usual.
Mhm.
You talk in your books about mindset. When you're, regardless of if you're someone that's like, okay, I need to learn about this, I've got to learn
Mhm.
what I should be doing, or I'm already implementing this, or I'm more advanced. What's the importance of having the right mindset as you start learning more and as you read the book?
Um, as you read the book, which if you start here, which would be a good start, is to start with Beyond Business as Usual and read that and start get some understanding, will help you to start understanding some of the steps and the process that will lead into. And the mindset is the unlearning and relearning, because you have to shift what you've thought you knew, what you've done for however long that you've done it, what you was taught, what you may have a degree in, all of these different things is shifting your mindset to know, okay, we have to do something different. And this also goes back to where we were saying we're in a constant learning, stage, because there's always something that we need to learn to keep bettering ourselves, for us to grow and just to improve. So shifting that mindset is really crucial to this process, because if you don't shift your mindset when it comes to you trying to learn something new and you're going through this stage, you're still bringing in those bad habits or those old habits that you used to have. So it's unlearning and relearning.
That's awesome. So I would just exactly what we were just saying there, regardless of the size of your business, regardless what stage you're at in the implementation, Beyond Business as Usual. That's where you need to start.
Mhm.
I'll have links in the show notes and everything, but Melissa, where do they find the books? And more importantly, whether it's they're trying to implement things right now and they know they need to reach out, or they're going to as soon as they've read the book, how do they connect with you as well?
Sure. You can purchase all of the books on Amazon, or you could DM me or send me an email if you want a signed copy, and I can get you a signed copy. And my email is Melissa, Melissa, at smginc.biz. And that's BIZ. So Melissa at smginc.biz. Shoot me an email. Instagram, TikTok, I am at Savvy Mag Biz, SAVVYMAGBIZ. And on LinkedIn, I'm just Melissa Ambers.
Awesome. So I'll put all those links in the show notes. Definitely go follow Melissa, connect with her, reach out to her. She can help. She can help you implement these things to better your business, better everything for your staff and your team. But these books are amazing. They're such a great starting point for you to understand this. So go over to Amazon. Well, actually, just DM her and get a signed copy. They're so much better. So, Melissa, thank you. Appreciate this. Appreciate what you're doing and the information you're sharing, because I think it's such an important topic that is changing so rapidly. We need someone like you to help us keep these things in the forefront.
Thank you so much, Jeff, for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey there, entrepreneurs and leaders. Are you ready to take charge of your dreams? I'm Jeff Hagee, and I'm here to help coach you towards success in starting your own business. I'm going to be choosing 6 people that I want to work directly with. I'm going to help coach them through every step of the way to start this business and take it as far as we can. Now, if this is something that you want to learn more about, or you want to see if you can qualify to work with me, go to jeffhagee.com/leader and you can learn more about the program and what we're going to be doing, and then we'll turn your vision into a reality. How would you like the strategies that elite athletes follow to perform at their highest level? Hi, my name is Jeff Hagee, and along with Tammy Matheny, we help athletes just like you to develop the confidence and mindset that'll let you reach your full potential. Your dedication to the physical aspect of your sport is obviously important, but the mental side, it's just as important. Mental skills are often the differentiating factor between good and great athletes. I've seen it hundreds of times. Two talented athletes, but one has much more success than the other because of their mental strength. The mental game can separate you from the competition. If you want to take your game to the next level, this is exactly what you're looking for. I want to give you the mental strength success secrets for free. This will include the self-talk resources that you can implement today to overcome your negative self-talk, the walk confidence resources, the pre-game visualization scripts, the preparation checklist, because confidence is being prepared, plus the 7 levels deep exercise that'll help you discover your true why. You can get all of this for free, plus a 14-day free trial of the Confident Athlete program. The Confident Athlete program will help you to build your confidence and teach you how to get it back if it's ever low, develop a powerful mindset, and develop your own personal success habits and implement them into your life. Understand the strength of your subconscious and the power of visualization, and gain the resources and tools that you can implement today that will immediately give you confidence. And of course, there's much more. This is all free and there's no commitment. All you have to do is say, yes, I want to try it out. Come and try the Confident Athlete program for 14 days for free and get the mental strength success secrets and start implementing them today. Go to confidentathleteprogram.com.